Shabbat Shalom. Shabbat Shalom to everyone, and certainly Shabbat Shalom to Henry. There you are, and your family. Henry, I love that slideshow. I hope everyone got a chance to watch the video of the pictures. And all these years I've known you, and I know that you sing and you act and you dance, but I'd never heard you sing in that amazing song from Dear Evan Hansen. Wow, I just have to take a moment and collect myself, because that was really wonderful. That was a treat for me and for everyone. And so I want to say welcome to just everyone who is tuning in for this really special occasion, this Havdalah service that is the Bar Mitzvah service of Henry Chackes. And I know we have many of your friends and your family who are joining us from near and far. We have members of the CRC community joining us. And I guess anyone that finds us on Facebook and YouTube will be part of your Bar Mitzvah, Henry. And so I know you are there at your home with your mom and your dad and your brothers, and just welcome to everyone. Just a few days ago, we had the new moon of Kislev, a new Jewish month. And I think you know, Henry, that there's a special holiday at the end of this month of Kislev. It's Hanukkah. It comes at near the end of the month, and this Bar Mitzvah feels like an early Hanukkah present for all of us. We are also excited to watch you lead the service and chant from Torah and Haftorah and teach us Torah, so that we can be more inspired as our Shabbat day ends. I know, Henry, that you wanted this Bar Mitzvah. This was your choice, and it's really the reason you and your family started coming to Friday night services all those years ago, to really kind of soak in, Jewish prayer and services and what it all means. And you guys, your family, became part of the Friday night regulars, right? And we missed that. We'll get back to it. But I know we've got some Friday night regulars watching you as you become Bar Mitzvah. And your family, you are third generation CRC, unless there's a fourth generation that I don't know about. But I think you're third generation. Your grandparents, Ken and Carol, were watching Friday night service last night. I saw your grandma's name pop up on the chat. And so your dad was Bar Mitzvah at CRC, at the church across the street. And so I'm going to ask your parents to come up so that you can lead our service feeling the arms of our tradition wrapped around you. And you're going to get a special talit, which was actually the talit that your dad wore at his Bar Mitzvah, his CRC Bar Mitzvah with Rabbi Susan, all those years ago. So go ahead and put that talit around Henry. And when you're ready, Henry.
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lahitaf bat tzit.
Oh, man. Get a little hug from your mom and dad, and they can go have a seat. Looks great. Third generation CRC and a second generation Talit. Wonderful, wonderful moment. And I know that all of your rabbis are here, Rabbi Susan and Rabbi Karen and Rabbi Daniel. And so there they are. Rabbi Daniel behind the scenes. I'm going to take the opportunity to sing a song that you know from Friday night services. And it's just really just about being together. And there you are with your family, and here we all are watching you and learning from you and being inspired by you. And so what do we say but Hine Matov? Hine Matov u'manayim shevet achim gam yachad. How good it is when we gather together, even when we gather together virtually for a simcha, for a happy occasion such as your Bar Mitzvah. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matovu manayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov shevet achim gam yachad. Amen, amen. So let me get that. Hold on one sec there. There we are, back again. So Henry, I want to let everyone know that if they want to follow along as you lead the prayers, they can go to our website, centralreform.org, and click on live stream, and you'll see a button that says Henry's Bar Mitzvah Siddur, so you can follow along on our Siddur. Otherwise, most of the prayers will be superimposed on the screen. And so without anything further, we're going to launch right into the service. Henry and congregation, we are on page 3.
Yitkadal v'yitkadash, Shemei Rabbah, Balmadi Rachirute v'yamlich malute, B'cha yechon uv yomechon uv kaye dekol beit Yisrael, Bagala bagala uvizman karib, V'imaru amen, Yehi Shmei Rabbah mevarach, Le'alam ulmeyomaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach, v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yitale v'yitala, Shemei dekudesha barehu, le'alan michol birhata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, damarin be'alma, v'imaru amen. Call forth a moment of earth, tree, rock, soil, mountain, sand, field. Call forth a moment of water, ocean, stream, rain, waterfall, swimming hole. Call forth a moment of air, wind, song, breathe, breath. Call forth a moment of fire, candle, sun, campfire, lightning. Call forth compassion, joy, peace, and love to yourself and to all beings, north, south, east, west, above and below. Let these elemental images and these godly qualities ground you as we open our hearts to prayer. Please rise as we call each other to prayer with the Baruch.
Yeah. You can go for it, Henry. We are at the bottom of page 5 with a Henry Chackes quote.
My family has different beliefs, but no matter how differently we think of God, the Shema tells us that God is one, and that we all pray to the same God. Please join me in chanting the Shema. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Please be seated. V'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol alevcha u'v'chol nafshecha u'v'chol meodecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzvacha hayom avenecha v'shinata avenecha v'debarta bam v'shivteka b'veitecha uv'lekteka v'derech uv'shoteka uv'kumecha Ukshartam leot yedecha v'hayu totafot b'yanincha uktavtam almuzot b'yantecha uvisharecha leman tiskeru v'asatem et kol mitzvotai v'hayatetem kadoshim le'elochem ani Adonai Elohechem asher hotzaiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim Layot lechem le'Elohim, ani Adonai Elohechem. Together. You shall love Adonai your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. Take to heart these words which I command you this day. Teach them diligently to your children. Speak of them when you are at home and when you are away, when you lie down and when you arise. Bind them as a sign on your hand, and let them serve as symbols between your eyes. Inscribe them on doorposts of your house and on your gates. Remember to do all my commandments and to be holy to your God. I am your God, who led you out of Egypt to be your God. I am your God. In the truest sense, freedom cannot be bestowed. It must be achieved.
Degen met de Joden bij Israël. Adonai Sabaoth Shemo Kadosh Yisrael Baruch Atah Adonai Gad Yisrael Siyah Bakuk Yen Cuencos Siyah Bakuk Yen Cuencos Siyah Bakuk Yen Cuencos Siyah Bakuk Yen Cuencos Siyah Hamba Siyah Hamba Bakuk Yen Cuencos Siyah Hamba Siyah Hamba Bakuk Yen Cuencos. We are marching in the light of God. 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 We are marching, we are marching, we are marching. Ooh, we are marching in the light of God. We are marching, we are marching, we are marching. Ooh, we are marching in the light of God. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai, mi kamocha neder b'kodesh.
Rabbi Randy, I think you might be muted.
Yeah, Randy, you're muted.
I'm back. I'm good. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
I don't think until recently that those words were ever heard at a bar mitzvah. You're muted, but we're back. We're back. And what I was saying was, Henry, I was saying that I know this is a prayer that you know from services, and it's only for these evening services. It's on page 10 of the Siddur. It's about a shelter of peace. And you know what I'm looking at right now while I'm singing this, besides you, I'm looking at your Siddur cover. That amazing picture of the tree that's uprooted. And it looks like that's a shelter, a beautiful shelter provided by nature. And I certainly hope that, we're all at our homes participating in this bar mitzvah. And so I hope everyone that is watching feels that shelter of peace that is the promise of Hashkivenu. And I certainly hope, Henry, that you and your family feel great shalom right now as your home is transported into a synagogue, a sacred place where you are becoming bar mitzvah right in front of our very eyes. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Allow us to lie and rise in peace. Shalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu l'shalom V'hamidenu shomrei nu l'chaim. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Everything's gonna be alright. Ufros aleinu sukkot, sukkot shlomecha. Ufros aleinu sukkot, shlomecha, and cover over us tonight with a sukkot shalom, a shelter of peace for you, for those you love, a shelter of peace, a sukkot shalom over all creation, over everyone and everything that dwells on earth. May this night, the night, Henry, you become Bar Mitzvah, a son of this tradition, may this night be filled with peace and joy and holiness and love for everyone. Amen. Shalom. So I think after page 10, we will turn to the next page, which I believe is 11. Sorry, we were on 10, right? And now we're on 11. And Henry, you're going to ask everyone that wants to follow the choreography of the service, if they would please, on page 11. Yes, to start the tefillah.
Rabbi Karen, you're muted.
Thank you. Again, something we've never said at B'nai Mitzvah before. We are at the top of page 12 with the Avot V'Imahot, so whenever you are ready.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak v'Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Leah v'Elohei Rachel Ha'el Hagadol Hagabor v'Hanora El Elyon Gamel Chasadim Tovim V'Kanei Hachol V'Zocher Chasadi Avot V'Imahot Ume V'Gula Livnei V'Neihem V'man Shamo V'Hava Melech Ozer U'Moshia U'Magen Baruch Atah Adonai Magen Avraham V'Yitzrat Sarah. Together. Praise be the God of our ancestors, the God of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, of Sarah, of Rebekah, of Leah, and of Rachel. Praise be the source of strength and kindness, the source of kindness and good deeds. Praise be the source of gentleness and love, of softness and kind words. Praise be the person who transcends strength through gentleness. Praise be the person who perfects gentleness through strength. Praise be the person who acts according to the best that is within. Praise be the person who reaches out to touch the best in others. Praise be the gentle faithfulness of Abraham, in the valiant strength of Sarah. Praise be the God who infused humanity with divine potential.
Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechaye hakol ata rav lehoshia. Mechalkel chayim bechesed, mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Sohomech noflim verofe cholim, umatir asurim. Umekayem emunato lishenei afar michamocha ba'al gevurot umido melach melech mimid umechaye umatzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman tala hachayod hakol baruch atah Adonai Mechaye hakol.
Change will not come if we wait for some other person or if we wait for some other time. We are the ones we've been waiting for. We are the change that we seek.
כשם שמרגישים אותו בשמם ככתוב היה נביאך וקרא זה אל זה ויאמר קדוש 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 אדוני צבאות מלוא כל הארץ Adir, Adirenu, Adonai, Adonai, Badir, Shimcha bechol haaretz, Baruch kevod Adonai, Simcho. Echanu Eloheinu, Hu Avinu Malkeinu, Hu Moshienu. ישבינו ורחמה ועיני כל חי אני אדוני אלוהיכם ימלוך אדוני לעולם אלוהי ציון לדור ודור נגיד גדלך ונצח נצחים קדושתך נקדיש ושבחך אלוהינו מפינו לא ימוש לעולם ועד ברוך אתה אדוני האל
So we are at the top of the page. Oh, thank you. Thank you for remembering that. So we are now at the top of page 16 with Vashamru, these words taken from the Torah that remind us to observe Shabbat. And I have to say, Henry, these words kind of remind me of you and your family because before the pandemic, we spent lots of Shabbats together and it was so nice all being together. Especially being with your family as we celebrated Shabbat. So although we are celebrating in a different way, it's so special to celebrate you and to be here together as a community to celebrate Shabbat.
וצ'מים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם וביום השביעי שבת וינפש ושמעו בני ישראל את השבת לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם לדורותם ברית עולם.
Peace cannot be kept by force. It can only be achieved by understanding.
So true, Henry, as we move into our blessing for peace.
עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ויעקב ישראל, ויעקב יושבי תבל, ואמרו Henry, I always think of you all for Friday nights like Rabbi Randy and Rabbi Karen said, but not anymore now that you are a Bar Mitzvah, but I always imagine all of you kind of falling asleep back there in the back rows. It always makes me think of this moment of peace that we have, right? That if we could all have that kind of peace in this world. עושה שלום במרומיו, הוא יעשה שלום עלינו, ויעקב ישראל, ויעקב יושבי תבל, ואמרו
It must be time to pass the Torah. And yeah, that's right. So it's really hard for me to believe that 28 years ago, I was standing with your father as he was about to become a Bar Mitzvah. Oh my God. It feels like the blink of an eye ago. And, you know, one of the things I am remembering and is that we're really 4 generations because, you know, we claim your grandparents, who I knew well, Alex and Shirley. So your great-grandparents, Henry, are in this line of tradition, as are all of your mother's people. And, you know, I have to say a word about your mother as you receive the Torah from her. You know, I fell in love with your mother as I was helping your parents prepare for their wedding. I don't have to tell you, the most generous, beautiful, good neshama, good spirit, talented. I mean, your mom made these things with her mother. They took dryer leaf. Remember those things you took? You took the dryer sheets and you put flowers in them, and they were the most beautiful things. I still have mine, actually. You know, it was just every detail. And I've seen this as I've been coming into your home to help you craft your amazing talk that you're teaching, where you add your voice to this Torah, Henry, and you're going to challenge everybody to be on this path to becoming a mensch. But I will tell you that I know your family. I know your mother's people, and you got a lot of mensch there, a lot of people upon whose shoulders to stand. And I know that your grandma and your granddaddy are right there with you as they're watching you with pride and generosity of spirit as well today. And you know, I've known your Grammy and your Gopi for a really long time. You know, I knew them as people who lost their parents, you know, but I also saw them with such dedication, the same dedication that I see in your mother and father raising the three of you. I watched them raise their family with the same teaching that you're going to give us today. What does it mean to become a mensch? And so it is more than a privilege for me to, with your great grandparents, all of your mother's people and all of your father's people who I know are with you in spirit today, from this world and also from the next world. I hope you feel their presence with you as you receive this Torah. You know, I know you kept talking about what it meant to become a mensch, but as I worked with you on your bar mitzvah, Henry, there wasn't a moment that you weren't a mensch. And that I know that you're that way with your little brothers. I know that you're that way in the world. I know that you demand excellence in everything that you do. And the last thing I want to say to you as we pass this Torah from generation, and it is, Rabbi Randy, 4 generations at CRC, from generation to generation to generation, and now to you, the first one in your family, really, in this generation to become a bar mitzvah. I also want to say that in our tradition, you know, it says there's a time to grieve, and we are all grieving for so many things. But you know what the opposite of grieving is? We talked about this. A time to grieve and a time to dance. And nobody dances better than Henry, right? And then what else does our tradition teach us? When we need to open the heart of the world, how do we do it? The Psalms teach us. The Psalms teach us when we want to open the heart of the world, Henry, all you have to do is sing. Not everybody can as beautifully as you. So with your singing and your dancing, with this moment that you receive the Torah, I'm going to ask your father to give it to your beautiful mother, who will hand this Torah to you so that we can sing together the words of the Shema.
Please rise. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Echad Eloheinu, Gadol Adonenu, Kadosh Shamo.
And now I'd like to ask your little brothers, George and Elliot, come on up and help your brother undress that Torah so that he can begin the reading of Torah, the teaching of Torah, adding his voice to this long chain of tradition as Henry today becomes a bar mitzvah. And I want you to look at your dad. He was shorter than you at his bar mitzvah. So, now I turn it over, I think, to Rabbi Randy.
All right, young man, I see that Torah stretched out in front of you, and I too feel all those generations, Henry, who put that Torah into your arms, including, by the way, you. You're included in all those generations because we each of us add our own uniqueness into this unfolding story. And so, Henry, you are about to chant from the Torah portion of, well, now this week, now that the sun has set, and we'll soon make Havdalah at the end of your Bar Mitzvah service. And so this is a brand new Torah portion, but it continues the epic story. And I think, Henry, you know, it's an epic story of Jacob and Esau. So I'm really looking forward to hearing all you have to say about the story. But first, we got to hear the words right from the Torah scroll. And I know you've been working really hard, kind of like preparing for one of those shows, you know. And you've had a teacher, a tutor, Golda. And I know Golda has loved working with you, and the two of you spent much time online getting ready for this moment. And I know that Golda wanted to give you a hand. Literally, I guess figuratively, she gave you a hand by being your tutor. But if you hold up that yad, figuratively, she gave you a yad. A yad is the tool that helps us read from the Torah without touching it with our fingers. And the word yad literally means hand. So a nice gift from your teacher as you prepare to chant for us. For those of you that have a Siddur and are following along, and I think the words will be on the screen as well, overlay is the term that I've been learning in technology, an overlay. But on page 20 of the Siddur is the Hebrew, as that Henry will be reading. And on page 21 is the English translation. And we want to make sure, Henry, that this moment for you and for all of us is filled with blessings. And so we are going to hear from people from your life that are not at your house, but who, through the magic of technology, are going to be part of your bar mitzvah moment. We call this aliyah, making the blessing for the mitzvah of hearing Torah at services. And so the first aliyah is going to be cousins. Well, actually, all the aliyahs besides you are cousins, but this first aliyah, the blessing before the Torah will be from your cousin Connor, who's in Florida, and the blessing after is going to be your cousin Scott, who's in Atlanta. So I'm going to call them to the Torah, and then we're going to hear the before blessing, we're going to hear you chant, and then we're going to hear the after blessing. Ya'amdu Aliyah L'Torah Kalman David Ve'elan Rishonah.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvorah. Baruch Adonai Hamvorach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bacha banu b'chol ha'amim v'natan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'torah.
Vayetze Yaakov. Vayetze Yaakov mi be'er shava vayelech karana vayithga bamakom vayalen shah kiva hashamesh vayikach me'achnei hamakom vayasem mera'ashotal vayitzuk bamakom hahu vayachalo v'hine sulam mutzav artsal verosho magia hashemayma v'hine malachei Elohim olim ve'redim bo.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam nata b'tochenu Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. And Yasher Koach to everyone. It's got to good to see your cousins, isn't it, Henry? That's pretty cool. So the second Aliyah are more cousins. This time, for the blessing before the second Aliyah, we have your cousins Henry Willie and Simone, and they are in Boulder. They are siblings who had their B'nai Mitzvah together. And then after the Torah reading, we have your cousins Shayna and Rachel. They're in Atlanta, and they're cousins too. They're not siblings, but they had their Benot Mitzvah together as cousins. So two pairs of cousins who had their bar and bat mitzvahs together. Pretty amazing and interesting. So I'm going to call them to the Torah, and then we're going to hear the blessing, and you're going to chant again, and then the blessing after. Ya'amdu Kalmin V'chana V'shena Bracha V'Miriam Rachel Aliyah L'Torah Sheni.
Baruch atah Adonai Hambarach. Baruch Adonai Hambarach Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'na'atan lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
V'hinei Adonai nitzav alav vayomar ani Adonai Elohei Avraham Avecha Ve'Elohei Yitzchak haaretz asher ata shochei alecha lecha etnena v'starecha v'haya zaracha ka'abar haaretz ufaratzta yama v'kedma v'tzafona v'nigba v'nivrechu b'cha kol mishrachot ha'adama uvzarecha v'haya zaracha ka'abar ha'aretz ufaratzta yama v'kedma v'tzafona v'nigba v'nivrechu b'cha kol mishrachot ha'adama uvzarecha v'hinei anochi imav ushmarticha bechol asher telech v'hashivoticha el ha'adama ki lo en zachat ar asher im aziti et asher debarti lach vayikra Yaakov mishnato vayomer achei yesh Adonai b'makom hazeh v'anochi lo yadati vayirach vayomar ma nora hamakom hazeh ein zeh ki em beit Elohim v'zer sha'ar hashamayim.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torat emet v'hayei olam natan b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen. Amen. So I heard loud and clear as you were chanting that beautiful chanting, God was in that place, and I did not know it. And God and godliness or spirit is all over the place. Your home, Henry, and everybody's home who is part of this bar mitzvah. And so you're going to continue your chanting, but this time you're the one making the blessings. This is your aliyah. So I'm going to ask your mom and dad to come on back and be with you to witness up close you becoming a bar mitzvah, because that is exactly what happens when I call you to the Torah and you make your blessings. You become a bar mitzvah, a son of this tradition who I know will bring everything that's meaningful to you from Jewish tradition into your life as you take the next steps into being a teenager. It was just your birthday not too long ago, your 13th birthday. So as you continue your journey to being a teenager and adolescent, and we know that you will bring the blessings of Judaism with you, with everything you're going to do and accomplish and create, and all the relationships you will have with all the people in your life. And so it is an honor, really, Henry, as one of your rabbis, to be able to call you to the Torah using your sacred name of Chaim Asher, which I know has great meaning in your life and in your family. But, you know, that word Chaim, it means life. And you certainly are filled with life, Henry. Just really a joy of a person to get to know. And you make life richer and sweeter just by being you. And so I'm going to call you to the Torah using that Hebrew name, and then you will do the blessing, finish your beautiful Torah chanting, and then the blessing after. And so here we go. Ya'amod Chaim Asher ben Hanan v'Beth Aliyah Torah our Bar HaMitzvah. The blessing.
Baruch et Adonai Hamvarach. Baruch Adonai Hamvarach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim v'na'atad lanu et Torato. Baruch atah Adonai noten ha'Torah. Vayashkem Yaakov baboker vayikach et ha'even asher samti matzeva vayitzok shemen mitzrat vayitzok shemen larishonam vayikra et shem hamakom hahu beitel ve'ulam li luz shem ha'ir larishonam vayidar vayikra neder le'mor imihiye Elohi imav ushmartecha bechol asher tele adzet asher titem li hazot vaitzot li le'Elohim vayikra le'Elohim v'ha'even hazot luz li ha'ne'eh v'haya Adonai li le'Elohim v'ha'even hazot asher samti matzeva yihye veit Elohim b'chol asher titen li aser a'aserenu lach. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natad lanu Torat emet v'chayei olam natat b'tochenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Rabbi Karen.
All right. Yeah. You guys can come on camera.
While you are dressing the Torah, we will take a moment for a Misha Berach, a blessing of healing that we say when the Torah is out. This is a blessing for anyone who needs some healing, spiritual healing, mental healing, physical healing, emotional healing. So I hope you are thinking of someone in your heart that you want to send healing to this week or this month, some extra blessings.
Misha Berach Avoteinu Mekor HaBracha Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who bless the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misha Berach Imotenu Mekor HaBracha Le'avotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
That fire sucks.
So you kind of hear that and think it all might be okay, right? So we are on page 23 with the blessing before the Haftorah. So there's a portion taken outside of the Torah that complements some of the same themes that Henry is going to read for us now. And his is from Hosea. So we are on page 23.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar bin ve'im tovim ve'ratzav v'divrahim hane'emarim bimit. Baruch atah Adonai habocher b'Torah uv'Moshe avdo uv'Yisrael amo uv'Navi ha'emet v'tzedek. Vayikra Yaakov Seden Ara Vayalo Yisrael ve'isha uvisha shahamar uvnavi he'ela Adonai et Yisrael miMitzrayim uvnavi Neshma'ar. Heath is Ephraim Tamruri Vedama Alav Yitosh Vecher Pato Yahashib lo Adonai. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech ha'olam tzor kol ha'olamim tzaddik bechol ha'adorot ha'el ha'ne'eman ha'omer ve'oseh hamdaber umkayem shechol devarav emet v'tzedek al haTorah va'al havadah va'al hova'imim va'al yom haShabbat hazeh shenatata lanu Adonai Eloheinu likdusha v'limnucha al kavod Utifaret al hakol Adonai Eloheinu anachnu modim lach umvarchim otach yitbarach shimcha bivchol chai tamid leolam va'ed Baruch atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Henry, that was beautiful. And now we get to hear your own understanding of your Torah portion.
Thank you all so much for being a part of my Bar Mitzvah. I am overjoyed that even in this time of crisis due to COVID-19, people are taking time to come and experience my crossing over from a child to the journey to becoming an adult. My name is Henry Chackes, and as you heard a little while ago, my Torah portion is Vayetze. The story of Vayetze begins with Jacob making a long and tiring journey to the city of Haran to escape his brother Esau, who was very angry with Jacob because Jacob stole his birthright. On the first night of Jacob's journey, he laid down with his head resting on a rock. That night he had a dream. It was a dream of angels going up a ladder to heaven and then back down to earth. In the morning, Jacob awoke and said, God was in this place, and I didn't even know it. Jacob realizes that he had a holy experience with God. However, even after all Jacob has experienced, he still bargains with God and treats God as if they were equals. Jacob asks that God protect him, give him food to eat and clothes to wear, and that he makes it to his destination safely. If God does all this, then Jacob will let God become his God. This bargain is what made me start wondering about this part of the Torah portion. Because why would God, the Eternal One, the Creator of the universe, want to bargain with Jacob? Jacob cheated his brother without feeling remorseful and thought that he could bargain with God. And I think this is why I named the speech, The Journey to Becoming a Mensch. The Oxford Dictionary defines a mensch as a person with integrity and honor. The road to becoming a mensch, however, is far from easy. There's a journey, whether it's a spiritual or an actual physical journey. The story of my portion teaches that, like Jacob, we will all make mistakes. That's why it's a journey. It's difficult. You mess up, but no one is perfect, and we hope that everyone deserves a second chance. I also learned that the rabbis ask why the portion is called Vayetze, and Jacob left. If his journey is so important, why doesn't it say Jacob went towards somewhere instead of leaving somewhere? The answer the rabbis give is that when a great person leaves a great place, there is a great space left behind. We know Jacob isn't a great person yet, but this is foreshadowing he will become. I believe this is one of the most important lessons in the Torah. We learn from Jacob we are all works in progress. We also learn from the story of Jacob's life how to become better people. These are the things I have learned from Jacob that took him from being a spoiled, selfish child to being a mensch. First, most people need the motivation to become a mensch. Some people feel bad enough on their own if what they're doing is wrong, and then they will try to become a mensch themselves. Other people need outside motivation, like a brother that's going to kill them. The second thing you need is an opportunity. to show that you have grown. Jacob will have many opportunities in this story to learn from his mistakes. Finally, a good mentor or teacher can help you learn the lessons you need to become a mensch. Jacob had God to help him. This year, I had online school. It wasn't easy at first. I had a lot of growing to do. Like Jacob, I was just going to take the easy route and not try very hard. But I did have the opportunity to get my grades back to where they should be. I learned from my mistakes, and my mentors, or my parents, were right there to motivate me to get the work I missed done. This was my school journey to becoming a mensch. Jacob didn't always do the right thing on his journey to becoming a mensch. If he did, he would already be a mensch, and we know that he isn't at first. He needs to try if he ever wants to become a better person. I am a dancer. I need to practice if I ever want to improve and grow, which is similar to becoming a mensch. You have to practice and try to become a mensch. And it won't just happen overnight either. You have to work at it. But eventually it'll pay off and you will become a mensch. In the end, both Jacob and Esau have the opportunity to become a mensch, learning from their mistakes by making peace with each other. This is important because it shows that everyone deserves a second chance, even Jacob. And this is the moral of the story. Everyone should have a chance to make mistakes and learn from them and become a mensch. Thank you all so much for listening to my speech, and I hope that, like Jacob, I inspired you a little bit to become a mensch.
Henry, wow, just wow. I know that I speak for everyone, either with you right now or watching on the live stream, when I say you did such an amazing job. You really put your heart and soul into today, and it shows. From reading the Torah to adding your own voice to the line of people who have spoken about our traditions, your insight and your depth have really shown. Henry, you probably know this, but you and your family were some of the first people I met when we started at CRC just a couple of years ago. And since then, not only have I gotten to know and love your family, but I've gotten to spend time with you as well, especially at the kibbutz, as you started to learn Hebrew and the blessings. Henry, just a few minutes ago, you read beautifully from Parsha Vayetze, which is not the name of the portion, but also the very first word that you read, which means he exited or he went forth. The commentators, those people who have shared their own understandings of Torah for thousands of years, say this moment marks the beginning of Jacob, our patriarch's spiritual journey. After he exits, he becomes himself, and he has his first personal encounter with holiness. I know that today is the moment in our tradition that in some ways marks the beginning of your own spiritual journey. After today, you are seen as an adult in Judaism, someone who can make their own spiritual decisions for themselves. But the truth is, you began this journey long ago when you decided yourself that you wanted to study and learn to become a Bar Mitzvah. This was your choice, something you wanted because it felt right for you. So this is my blessing for you. May you always have that sense of direction for your life's journey, even if, as you said, there are mistakes along the way. May you always find a way to celebrate your Jewish heritage. And may you continue to bring all of us your sense of compassion, your articulateness, your creativity. And I hope you continue to bring to all of us also what a mensch really means and what it's all about. So thank you, and Mazel Tov. And so I'm going to give you one more blessing. It's called the Shehechianu, and it's a blessing that says thank you for letting us get to this moment in time and this season. So, Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech HaOlam, Shehechianu v'kimanu v'higianu lazman hazeh. Amen. Mazel Tov, Henry. I think we should teach you how to sing that because you have a way better voice. And now I would like to invite up someone special from our congregation, Iris Hinderleiter, who is a member of our board of directors, and she will be making presentations to you on behalf of our congregation.
Hi, Henry. This is Iris Hinderleiter on behalf of the CRC board. We are so proud of you on your big day. I'm here to present you with your certificate in honor of becoming a Bar Mitzvah. There have been 2 trees planted in your honor in Israel. One tree will be planted in a majority Jewish neighborhood and the other in a largely Arab neighborhood. It is our hope that the 2 trees will grow together in a land filled with justice and peace, and that you will one day visit and see the fruits of all that has been planted. So congratulations on that. And I also have your tzedakah jar for all the mitzvahs that you've likely already done and will do now that you're a bar mitzvah. And again, we're so proud of you on this day, and take it all in. Enjoy.
Henry, you're amazing, as everyone has said. You inspire us. And, I was so struck when you were reading your Torah portion. You were talking about, the Torah was talking about how we can be a blessing to the whole world. And I was just thinking of what a blessing your whole family has been to so many people. So there are so many people we think of at moments like this, including those who aren't with us right now. And so at the end of every Jewish ceremony, at the end of every service, we take a minute to remember those who aren't here, those who have helped to build the world that we are the inheritors of, as we share some of their names. So I know you're thinking of Ari Dugan, of a blessed memory. But I was just going to share a few names of some folks here in the CRC community who have died in the last month or so. It has been too much loss for our world, for our community. So we lost Howard Handelman, Mem Mavshin, of a blessed memory, Shirley Gershon, Bob's mom, Joel Leon, Jose Valesco, the father of our beloved Jose, who works at CRC, Jeffrey Watson, Morton Weschler, Carol Katz, David Levin, and Greg Carlson. And so we add all of these names to the names we hold in our hearts as together, wherever we are, we say these words that affirm life, that affirm our commitment to making the memories of those that we miss truly a blessing in our world. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divrach chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, b'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru. Amen. Yehei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam l'omei almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yipa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yitadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei dekudasha barichu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'imru. Amen. Yehei shlam araba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. L'sei shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, ve'imru. Amen. We say zichronam livracha, may the memories of all of those that we missed be a source of blessing and of healing in our lives and in the world. And so we make a separation. We make a separation from this time before you were bar mitzvah to this time when you've become bar mitzvah, and we're going to make another separation. We are going to make a separation of Havdalah as we end Shabbat. And so, Henry, I was thinking again about what we said about being a blessing to the whole world, right? What you said, what you read to us from the Torah. But what strikes me about becoming a bar mitzvah is that this is the day. And I know you have been doing this in so many ways before now, but this is the day when you really stand up and you take your rightful place along the many generations of the best kind of do-gooders in your family working to make a separation from the things that have been to the things that there should become. And so we are going to say Havdalah. We're going to say these ancient blessings, sing these ancient blessings. I'm going to invite Rabbi Susan and Rabbi Randy, if they have Havdalah candles, and I think you've got one there too, to go ahead and light these candles. Maybe I'll go around and turn off the lights over here to see how that looks. Okay, Kay, you're in charge of the Havdalah buttons too.
I have the candle.
It's a lot. It's multitasking.
You do the light first.
Smell those spices. Take in this moment. They say that scent is the most connected. So look around, Henry. Take a moment. Smell that smell. Take in this as you become a bar mitzvah. Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'esh borei meorei ha'esh Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lecho ben or lechoshev ben yom hashvi'i leshes yamei hamaseh Baruch atah Adonai hamavdil ben kodesh lecho. And take a sip of that wine or take a sip of that grape juice. And we say goodbye to Shabbat as we sing Eliyahu Hanavi, as we promise as this Shabbos ends to make the world the place it should be.
Okay, Henry, you ready? Should we put them out together?
Oh
boy. Let's do it.
Eliyahu Hanavi Eliyahu Hatishbi Eliyahu 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 Agiladi Bimera v'yamenu Yavo Elenu Im Moshiach ben David Im Moshiach ben David. Shavua Tov, Henry. Mazel Tov.
Beautiful. Amen. And Shavua Tov, how do you feel, Henry?
I feel good.
Good. Well, it was really, really just such an honor and a treat to share this with you and to watch you up close becoming a bar mitzvah. I want to add to something that Rabbi Susan said about your mom, because hold up that candle for a second. The candle holder.
It's currently a little bit broken, but
well, that's okay. But that candle, it's a rectangular holder, and we always had a little trouble because the candle didn't quite fit. So your mom somehow fashioned a rectangle out of the wax at the bottom of the candle so it fit. So what an amazing thing. So I've been thinking about that since you showed me. But we're going to use it for the next Havdalah. We have a Havdalah bat mitzvah next week, and they'll have a much easier time with the candle because of you guys. So thank you. And now I'm going to ask for your mom and your dad to come up once again, because now they're going to give you their words of love and pride and blessing.
Okay, I can. Just in case. Our family has a long history with Central Reform Congregation. Henry's grandparents joined CRC in the 80s. Rabbi Susan Talvey was Andrew's rabbi for his bar mitzvah in 1992. She led the funeral service for his grandfather, Alex Chackes, in 2001. She co-officiated at our wedding in 2003, and a few years later, she gave Henry his Hebrew name. So it would perhaps seem obvious that Henry would have a CRC bar mitzvah, and that we have simply come full circle. But Henry's journey to become a bar mitzvah was anything but obvious or simple. I know this is supposed to be a blessing for Henry, but instead I'm telling a story, because the true blessing here is Henry and his journey. We took our children to their first bar mitzvah in May of 2016. Prior to this point in our children's lives, being Jewish basically meant having family gatherings at Rosh Hashanah, Yom Kippur, Hanukkah, and Passover. It was the mitzvah of Cousin Connor, who you heard give the first Aliyah blessing just a few minutes ago. The service was beautiful. Connor was flawless, and the country club party that followed, sensational. It is worthy of note that during this family trip, we also went to the beach, New Orleans, and Disney World. But upon returning home, 8-year-old Henry seemed focused on only one part of the trip, having a bar mitzvah. And to this request, we said, Henry, you don't understand what you're asking for. We don't belong to a congregation, and we are a two-religion household, and becoming a bar mitzvah is so much work. And we thought, he'll forget about it. He'll change his mind. Wait and see. And we thought he did. Henry started dance lessons that summer, and he loved them, and he was devoted to learning to play piano. His schedule was getting fuller and fuller, and the notion of trying to fit religious or Hebrew school into it seemed like way too much. Henry stopped asking about a bar mitzvah, and we didn't remind him. In January of 2017, our family attended a second mitzvah, this time in Atlanta, Georgia. Scott, who just gave the second blessing, was nothing short of amazing at his bar mitzvah. Scott's celebration was a huge, fantastic hotel party with a basketball theme and light-up blocks on the dance floor. Upon returning home, Henry again asked to have a bar mitzvah, and we said, Henry, you just want to have a party. And you aren't going to want to put the work in. Learning Hebrew is so difficult. There aren't even vowels in the Torah, and you have to read it backwards. And we thought, he'll get over it. He'll change his mind. Wait and see. And we thought he did. That summer, Henry joined his dance company's performance group. He was taking 8 dance classes, spending upwards of 10 hours a week in the dance studio, still playing piano. He had added vocal lessons and was playing flag football. He was, by his own design, the busiest kid I knew. And the thought of adding anything else to his schedule seemed completely impossible, because what kid could possibly handle all that? So again, a bar mitzvah seemed forgotten. In October of 2017, our family attended a third bar mitzvah,
a third mitzvah in Boulder, Colorado. This time it was the Banat mitzvah of Willie and Simone, who you just heard give the third blessing. Willie and Simone were terrific. They had an absolutely wonderful mitzvah. They showed so much poise and maturity. Their service was beautiful. They had a fantastic celebration, complete with a kids' dance competition. And we all completely fell in love with the city of Boulder. On the drive home, Henry asked for a third time to have a bar mitzvah. And at first, we still were resistant to the idea, but Henry would not let up. So eventually we said, fine. We still don't think you know what you're asking for, and you don't have time in your schedule for Hebrew school. You have dance and a million other activities, but let's start going to Friday night services. You don't have time for anything else. We thought, he won't like it. He'll change his mind. Wait and see. So on October 13th, 2017, we walked into Friday night services led by Rabbi Randy. It's safe to say we were probably the youngest members of the Friday night congregation crowd by at least 20 years. But that didn't seem to matter. We felt welcomed, and we all fell in love with the very thing we expected our children to dislike. Randy with his guitar, the singing of KB, Leslie, and Andrew became our Friday night norm. It's odd how much those services filled our lives in the most unexpected ways. They were a place for hope when Henry's friend grew very sick, and he asked to say a healing prayer, Misher Be'erak, and a place for mourning when she passed away. And Henry said Kaddish for her for weeks and weeks. Those Friday nights became a place of renewal, a place of kindness, of friendship, of peace, of acceptance, and of learning for all of us. As I write this, I'm a little sad and embarrassed at our lengthy resistance to Henry's bar mitzvah request. I can't tell you why we discouraged it so many times exactly. Henry's busy schedule was definitely part of it. But I also think maybe we felt like we weren't Jewish enough. Maybe that neither of us felt like going through the motions that we thought we would have to in order to help Henry prepare for a mitzvah. For Andrew, I think it may have been how much he disliked his own bar mitzvah preparation. Because for those who don't know, bar mitzvah preparation is an enormous amount of work. Little did we know, Henry wouldn't ask for our help at all. His motivation would stay his own. For me, it's more difficult to pinpoint my reason for resistance. I think maybe my lack of Jewish heritage made me afraid I wouldn't know how to help or what to do. But in the end, it did not matter. Jacob shows us birthrights are sometimes meant to be challenged, and the end result is exactly what it's supposed to be, even if the journey to get there is unorthodox. Once it became clear that Henry was actually going to have a bar mitzvah, I set out to understand more of this journey for myself. For those of you who might not know, Torah consists of the first 5 books of the Bible, the Pentateuch. I may have mispronounced that. Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy in their original Hebrew form. I am Christian, and I, like most Christians, spent the bulk of my religious learning in the New Testament. I had very little knowledge of Torah, so I got out my King James Bible and I read all 5 of them. I found them fascinating and beautiful, and I will forever be grateful that Henry's Torah portion is in Genesis and not Leviticus. That said, if any of you find yourself afflicted with leprosy and need to know what course of action would be appropriate to take 5,000 years ago, feel free to reach out. I can probably help. In bar mitzvah preparation, Henry spent very little time in a typical Hebrew and religious school setting. Most of his education occurred during private tutoring with the ever-patient Golda. Amazingly insightful meetings with Susan, and Friday nights at CRC. Sometimes we'd play a game on the way to Friday night services called Guess the Rabbi, where we each tried to guess which rabbi would be leading the services that night. If it was Susan, we knew we would be getting a beautiful service full of wisdom and deep thought. Randy, an uplifting service full of optimism and humor. Karen, poetry and authenticity of what it is to be both human and a rabbi. Daniel, an intense existential conversation that stayed with you for days. Or Jim. And with Jim, well, you weren't quite sure what you'd get, but it was sure to be interesting. Friday night services were the perfect blend of religion and how it relates to life. We were there the night that Rabbi Susan and Jim's daughter Adina passed away, which happened to coincide with the large, beautiful memorial service for Sister Antono Ibo. May their memories be a blessing. We were present for the CRC Friday night services that followed the shooting in the Pittsburgh synagogue, when our normal Friday night crowd of 50 or so grew to hundreds and hundreds, and the chairs of CRC were filled with Christians and others attending in solidarity. The lessons Henry learned here were life lessons, ones that taught unity and its importance, especially in the face of tragic realities, and that light can always be found, even in the darkest of circumstances, if you look for it. Henry, you have an incredibly large, proud, and supportive group of family and friends. I hope you feel all of their love today. To simply say that I am proud of you, Henry, would be a gross understatement. You are truly remarkable and unique person, and I am in awe of you and your accomplishments. You shine in everything that you do. You challenge yourself and others to be better in all ways. You are uncommonly kind, independent, strong, talented, and amazing. I am so excited to see what the future holds for you, but I guess I will just have to wait and see. Hi, George.
That was beautiful. Thank you. All right. Mine's only one page. Henry, you did amazing. We are so proud of you today as you complete your journey to becoming a Bar Mitzvah. But this is nothing new. There have been so many moments of great pride that you have given us. From excelling in your honors classes at school to your many musical and dance performances, and all the times you have shown your character by displaying empathy and kindness to others. This year, online school, as you mentioned in your beautiful speech, started off as a bit of a struggle. Your grades were not what they could have been. But with a change of attitude and focus and a little encouragement, you figured out how to get back on track. You managed to get your schoolwork done while preparing for a bar mitzvah, taking dance classes, preparing for a musical that is only 2 weeks away from today and you're still preparing for, taking voice lessons, attending triple threat practices, and still have time to play video games, play with your brothers, cut the grass, and go on our family dog walks every night. Somehow, through sheer determination, you managed to make straight A's in all of your honors classes last quarter. Pretty amazing. When you wanted to learn to dance and perform as a dancer, you didn't let the fact that you were the only boy in your dance classes discourage you. And when kids teased you at school about taking ballet, you shrugged it off and persevered. You've grown so much over the past 5 years as a dancer through your hard work and dedication, and you just don't dance, you shine on the stage, and we love watching you. I'll get through it. All right, Henry, you have the biggest heart. You're kind, empathetic, and can't stand to see injustices in the world. You have displayed this over and over again, from helping out other kids in their time of need, or just being kind to a kid when they are not having the best day, and also in our countless kitchen table conversations about politics and the world in which we live. It's almost impossible to believe you just turned 13 because of how accomplished you are, and yet your life journey has really just begun. The qualities you have shown us, your talents, your determination, and your kindness to others will truly make this world a place, and I can't wait to be a witness to it.
And let's have George and Elliot come on. Let's see you guys. Let's see the brothers. So, Henry, that word mitzvah, You know, it's a sacred deed. And deeds. Well, I got to tell you, buddy, your bar mitzvah was a mitzvah for us. To share this with you and your family. I know everyone who's watching and everyone who will watch, because this will be a video that'll live on in the internet, is going to come out of it feeling just more hopeful and just more joyful and more certain that, as Rabbi Susan always says, the good in us, despite it all, the good in us will win. And in this challenging time, you created light. And that's an incredible mitzvah. So we have, I know your mom baked a challah. Do you guys have that challah somewhere? All right.
Yes.
We've already said kiddush because of Havdalah. It's all right.
Yes.
We're going to make motzi. I have to say, before you do this, where's George and Elliot and Henry? I want to see you guys with the bread, with the challah, because this is a very familiar sight. You guys became the official challah blessers on Friday night, and everyone looked forward to you guys making the blessing and having the first bite of challah. So this is a treat to see you again. Everyone's shaking their head because we all feel it that way. So I'm going to make the blessing. I'm not sure if it works all that well, but you guys can sing along. It'll be okay. Right, Daniel? Yeah, it'll be all right. All right. Let's do it this way. Ha-motzi lachem min haaretz.
We give thanks to God for bread. Our voices rise in song together as our joyful prayer is said. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz. Amen.
We did it. Go ahead, you guys. Go ahead, and just know that we're all of us. We're all sharing that challah with you. You get to eat it all, but we get to share the moment. So I want you to know that after we make the blessing and have a celebratory song, I know it's raining out there, but you might want to go outside your house, maybe get an umbrella or two. CRC loves you guys, and we've got a few people in a safe pandemic quarantine kind of way who want to kind of make sure you know how much CRC how much CRC is proud of you and excited for this bar mitzvah moment. So just kind of take a peek. You might hear some horns honking, just giving you a little heads up. Just what kind of the style of the day of the era. So put our arms around Henry and our arms around each other. Our newest bar mitzvah. We are so lucky and blessed. And you did an amazing job, Henry. Mazel tov from all of us. And you know this blessing. This is from us to you, and we want it to spread over the whole wide world. We say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you now and always.
Adonai panav elecha v'chuneka. May we all take a little bit of the light that I think we have felt from you today, Henry, and may we spread it out into this world.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May all that is good and high and holy continue to be inspired by and be blessed by your presence and the presence of your family and the generations of your family, so that we can all be blessed with a little more shalom, a little more peace in our hearts, our homes, our community, and because of your bar mitzvah, Henry, and the wonderful teachings that you've given us, the way you led us in prayer, and just your spark and your light. I think the whole world is going to be a better place now as we go forward. We say Amen. And Shavua Tov and Tov.
Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, singen Tov, singen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, singen Tov, singen Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, singen Tov, Elanu, 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 Ulechol Yisrael, Elanu, Elanu, Ulechol Yisrael, Elanu, Elanu, Ulechol Yisrael, Elanu, Elanu, Ulechol Yisrael. Singing Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, singing Tov, singing Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, singing Tov, singing Tov, Mazel Tov, Mazel Tov, singing Tov, Elanu. Amen, 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 amen. Shabbat Shalom, 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 Shabbat Shalom. Amen, 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 amen.
All right, that's it.
Except.
Suddenly there's a big, tall, terrible giant at the door. A big, tall, terrible lady giant sweeping the floor. And she gives you food and she gives you rest, and she draws you close to a giant nest. You know things now that you never knew before. Not to the sky. calm and forever.